What's up, Space Pirates? This is your captain, the Dread Pirate, Dr. Disaster, and we have got a tale to spin of comeuppance. You might remember this guy, Sam Winkler, the writer for Borderlands 3 and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. He was in the news a few days ago defending Sweet Baby Inc. and attacking gamers.
Sheer f***ing hubris.
Well, he's such a great writer, so magnificent at his craft, that his studio is being fire sold for pennies on the dollar. That's right, Gearbox is being sold. And I know, you may be wondering, with such prodigious talent like Sam Winkler out there making video games for this studio, how could the Embracer Group have lost money on this endeavor? Well, maybe because people like Sam Winkler spend more time attacking people that should be their customers than actually, making video games. Alright, me hearties, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and also, don't forget to follow me over on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1. But let's dive into this news. I woke up this morning and saw it, and I was pleasantly astonished. Embracer sells Borderlands Studio Gearbox for $460 million after acquiring it for $1.3 billion just 3 years ago.
That's a spicy meatball!
It was less than a week ago that Sam Winkler, the writer for Borderlands 3 and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, he said this. He said, "I see this argument all the time against DEI and consultancy, and it just highlights the total misunderstanding of what being a good writer is. You don't somehow max out your stats and learn how to write every conceivable character, plot, or prose style. Knowing you can't, aren't ready, or aren't the right person to write something is one of the chief skills for a pro writer. Ideally, you have a team that can cover all your bases, but if you have a gap, you hire an outside expert, just like in literally any effing other industry. Just further evidence that 99.99% of the people spewing this shit have never created a single thing in their lives that they're proud of, and the rest are just straight up bigots."
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
He unironically argued that the chief skill of a pro writer is to not write, all while smugly talking down to gamers and insinuating that because of his career, he has much to be proud of, and we don't. Well, apparently, Embracer wasn't particularly proud of the shit that he has put out because they were willing to lose 2/3 of their investment in order to dump his studio off their portfolio. The article says, earlier today, Embracer Group announced it had completed the sale of Borderlands Studio Gearbox Entertainment for $460 million to Take-Two Interactive. We're gonna skip down a ways to here. If you want to read the full article for yourself, a link will be in the description, but the article here says, this all comes after Embracer Group originally acquired Gearbox, including its development studios and publishing arm, for roughly $1.3 billion, including stocks and shares, back in February 2021. A report back in September last year claimed that Embracer Group was close to selling Gearbox as the fallout of Embracer's failed $2 billion investment from outside investors. I'm gonna pause here real quick and point out that this is basically Games Radar running cover for their corporate overlords. Yes, a deal apparently fell through between Embracer and some investors in Saudi Arabia, which would have given them an infusion of cash of something like $2 billion. But they are obfuscating the big picture here, which is that these studios have not been profitable on their own, or they wouldn't need such an investment.
He's right.
These games are alienating longtime fans in favor of their imagined modern audience that just does not exist in large enough numbers to sustain them. That is why they went looking for outside investment in the first place, and that is why they took whatever they could get for Gearbox, because it is not an entity that will thrive on its own. I really want to claim this as a victory for Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, but it just hasn't been around long enough to have that sort of impact. In truth, this is a victory for the free market. Corporations do not sell assets for a third of what they paid for it 3 years earlier if they are actually valuable. But anyhow, the article concludes, Embracer shuttered Saints Row developer Volition back in September, also due to the fallout of the failed investment.
Nope, wrong again!
Over a period of 6 months last year, Embracer Group canceled 29 unannounced games and shuttered 7 studios, one of which was an unannounced Deus Ex game which had been in development at Eidos Montreal for several years. Once again, they are running cover. Embracer would not have shuttered Volition if it was making money, but Saints Row, as we all know by now, was a damned catastrophe, and Gearbox isn't much better. Sam Winkler might be super proud of what he's done, despite the fact that the only way to even play Borderlands 3 is to ignore the dialogue, but that spin does not work here. Anyhow, I'm gonna leave it there. What do you make of this fire sale? Was poor Sam Winkler and Gearbox just the victim of economic circumstance? Or did Embracer get rid of them because they aren't exactly setting the world on fire? Drop your thoughts down below and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty